Hello everybody, welcome back to another tutorial in the how to make mods for Gang Beast. In this tutorial, I'm going to be talking about the Unity Explorer. It's a very powerful tool for looking at how the game functions and making mods. Now, I actually need to code something for the actual mod loader, and I'm going to use Unity Explorer. So if you want to download Unity Explorer, go to the link in the description. You'll find this. Click manual download. It will go into your downloads folder. Right click this, extract all, navigate to your Gang Beast folder, then into your BepInEx folder, into your plugins folder. Create a new folder called this, or it can actually be called anything. Select that folder, boom, and then extract it into there, and then run your game and it should work. So I just need to let my dog out. Okay, I'm back. So once you do that, and you open up Gang Beast, hopefully this doesn't install, you should see this appear in your game. And you can actually just close all of these things. So F7 will toggle it. So yeah, and then there's these different tabs. The log just logs what's happening. This is just a bunch of errors. You don't need to really use the log. The free cam is sort of helpful, but it's the same thing as the cinematic mod. Let me just okay. So yeah, you can move around and stuff. Cool. The next thing, the main stuff, sorry, is the Object Explorer and the Inspector. So let me quickly show you what I need to make. What I want to do is add another button in here that says cement that allows you to access the mod menu. So right now it's just binded to F9. So let me quickly toggle this off so you can actually see it. In here it shows all the editable values for each mod, and it allows you to toggle mods, turn them on and off, and stuff like that. So cool. You can now close this. What did I want to say? Oh yeah. So I'm going to show you how to use Unity Explorer to do that. The first thing that I want to do is show you the Object Explorer. So the Object Explorer shows you what's in a Unity scene. If you don't have any Unity experience, it's basically just showing you the objects that are in here. So everything that you'll see will be somewhere in here. And there's just some stuff that you don't see. So the first thing, you can just explore here. I already know where this stuff are, but you can click these arrows, these drop downs, and yeah, and also you can click here to disable certain stuff. So as you can see, when I disable this, and that disappears. So I know that the menu is somewhere down here. Then I go into the main menu because this is the main menu, the canvas, main menu, and then under text selection, I have these things. Okay, cool. And then what I can do is I can actually instantiate it. So if I click instantiate, I'm pretty sure it creates a clone of it over here. But now I actually want this to be the parent. So I can click on here and say copy to clipboard, the parent, and then, wait, why isn't that working? Copy to clipboard. Gonna paste that in there. Boom. And as you can see, now adds it on here. Where is it? Local. Here. So now these changes are not permanent. This is just in the game. But what in Unity Explorer, it allows you to taste different stuff and see what works. And then I'm gonna show you how to take what you're doing in Unity Explorer and convert it into code. So there's really four main things that you can do with mods. Sorry, my phone is going off. It is searching for different objects. So getting different objects, instantiating or creating new objects, changing values in those objects, and then doing some sort of processing with the objects. So every mod has does at least one of those things. Over here, we're going to have to search for this object so we can copy it. Um, and then we're going to have to change the value of it. So for instance, over here in the inspector, this allows us to see all the properties of the item. Sorry, I kind of glossed over that. As you can see, here's the parent. So I can copy that to clipboard. Here's the name. So we can change this to cement because this is going to be the cement button. And then here are the different components and the children. So the components are what actually are like the scripts. This is the actual code. So if we go to the Text Mesh Pro, which is the actual text component, we can change the text over here. This should be a text here. Text. We can also search for it over here. Okay, but that doesn't help. We can search Text Mesh Pro. Wait, why isn't? Oh, it's tmp underscore text dot text over here, and then we can change this to cement, and then as you can see, it changes it to cement. If we go to the parent of this text selection, we can then change the index of this of this child, as you can see under children. So we want it to be before quote, so we can change it to 7. And then as you can see, it appears before 7. And now this is also a bit low, so I also want to increase the Y position a bit, not that much. Oh, oops, that's the wrong. That's a bit too much. Is that fine? Yeah, that's about fine. And now we have a cement button, but if we click on it, as you can see, it still does what the local button does. Sorry. So the UI might sometimes not work. Just press F7 to disable that, and then it should work because Unity Explorer sometimes messes with the UI in the game. So yeah. Anyways, we want to actually make this cement button pop up this menu. So if we want to do that, then we're going to have to go into the cement object, go into the button, and then there should be a on click, inspect, then we can add a listener here. So evaluate, and it needs a Unity action call. So this will be some sort of method. We can try and actually find one of these methods. So in the top here, we can change the scene. So the scene will be don't destroy and load. This allows us to see all of the cement stuff too, and all the Bibinex stuff. So if we go under cement mods, or actually, I think it would be under, oh, we actually need to search for the mod menu component. So this is a good tutorial because now I actually have to go through everything to actually do what I want to do, and I get to show you guys. So the object search allows us to search for different objects in the scene. So we can search for Unity objects, which will be like game objects and scripts and stuff, but I want to search for just a normal class. And the class I'm searching for is called mod menu over here. So let's search for it. As you can see, there's one instance of it. We want to get the Singleton. And over here it has a, as you can see, boom, it has an enable thing. So we can copy, oh, I don't know if we can copy this method. I think we copy the output. If I check my clipboard. Yeah. Anyways, what we need to do is map this method onto, up here you can see all the previous access stuff. So over here, the on click, we need to set the argument to this method, and then it will work. So let's actually get to coding this. What we need to do is, in my code, ignore, okay, this code, we can ignore a bunch of this stuff. Because yeah, let's, yeah, this is the behind the scenes of the mod loader. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new private void. First of all, we needed to detect on the scene loaded, and we need to get the scene and the load scene mode. That doesn't really matter. If the scene dot name is equal to menu, then we need to spawn in cement button. Cool. So let's just do that. Okay, cool. So now we actually need to add this. So if I go to my awake method, we need to say scene manager dot scene loaded plus equals on scene loaded. Okay, cool. Obviously, this won't be exactly the same for you, but this is like a general case of how to do certain stuff. So right now, our logic is pretty simple. When a seed gets loaded, we check if when the scene, not the seed, when the scene is loaded, we check if the name is menu, then we spawn in the cement button. So spawning in the cement button is what I just discussed. So again, up here, you can change this to menu so you can actually see all the objects in the scene versus on the destroy and load. Okay, so we need to find this manager's object. So actually a really cool thing is we need to find this local thing. Actually, we can find the text section, uh, the text section. So let's copy this because if we want to find something, it's really simple. We just use the game object find method. Sorry, we have to put this in a string. I don't know if this will work. I don't think this will work. What we have to do is we find the manager's thing, and then we do dot transform, and the transform has a find method where you can do slashes to look for children. So what this will do is it finds the game object with the name managers. So it'll find this object here. This has the name managers. Then it will go into the transform. So this accesses a transform, and it finds the child with the name menu. And then under the name menu, we'll find the child with the name main menu, which is this. And then so on. Canvas, then main menu, again, then text selection. And then we can store this value somewhere. So this will return a transform. So let's just say text selection. Now we need to actually get this local thing. So what I can do is the local, we can actually store this as a game object. The local button is equal to text selection dot find. So now we're calling the find method again for the transform to find the local button. So this will find the child of the text selection called local. So that's this, and then we're finding the child called local. And now it's giving an error because this is returns a transform and we're trying to set it to a game object. So we just want to say dot game object. Okay, cool. So now we have the local button. Now we need to create the cement button. So to create the cement button, we're going to use a method called instantiate, which just creates a clone of something. So we're just going to pass it our local button and then we'll clone it. And then I don't know if we need to, but I'm going to pass in the parent as the text selection. So if the second parameter of text instantiate is the parent, if there's only two parameters. Okay, cool. Now we actually, like I did before, we need to change the name. So I just use cement button dot name. And then there's just going to be called cement. So all of these, so when I click on a thing over here, sorry, yeah, so when I click on a thing here, like this local, all of these parameters that you see or can actually be changed inside code. And so, for instance, this TMP text thing that we changed before, the TMP underscore text for text, this is a real thing that we can actually get. We just need to get this component because this is hidden inside of the component TMP text. And then we just need to set the .text thing. So let's quickly do that. So we force a main button, and then we say .get component, and then we need to pass in a type. This will be TMP text. You might get an error because it's under a namespace, so you're gonna have to say here using TMP Pro, but I'm already using it there, so yeah. Let's go back to where I was here. So now we're getting the component, and we're setting the text equal to cement2. So now we set the name and we set the text of the actual button. Now what we need to do is the other thing we said is we change the child index. I don't know how to actually do that. I guess can we just set console.child might have to use text selection dot oh, here we can set sibling. Oh, not set. Can we do set child? Or oh, we can do that under the cement button. So cement button control dot set sibling index. And what we did here, this is kind of, we can just hard code it to be 7. I'm pretty sure it was 7. Let's quickly check. Yeah, 7. But what we actually want is the count minus 2. So there's 9. So the count minus 2. So let's get text selection dot child count dot minus 2. So boom, this should work. The last thing that we need to do is make it so that when we click on it, it shows the mod menu. So now what we've done is we've covered 3 of the main things of making mods, which is finding an existing thing, instantiating and creating something new. In this case, it already existed, but we can like import our own models, which is going to be in the next tutorial. I'm going to show you how to actually import your own models into the game. Thirdly, change values. Over here, we're changing values. And then fourth, doing some processing. And this is but then the processing is going to be making the mod menu appear. And luckily, I already wrote code to do that. So yeah, we don't have to worry about that. So now we need the cement button. We need to get the component button. So if you remember before, we go under here. There's a component called Unity engine.ui button. We can ignore that. That's just a namespace. So the thing highlighted in green is the button, and it has a dot on click property, which we can add a listener to. So yeah, let's quickly. So we're getting the component.add button. I'm actually going to store this in a variable. So button. And I know my names are terrible, but it's fine. Because on click, first of all, we can't just add a listener because it's going to still have the previous one. So we first have to remove all listeners. Because what it does is when you add a listener, it adds when you add a listener, it will obviously add it to like a set of here. If we go into the calls list, I'm pretty sure this is what it needs to actually call. So we don't want it to call the method that it's currently doing now. The game is like probably because of Unity Explorer. Yeah, it does that. So we need to first remove old listeners before we add a listener. So over here, remove all listeners. Let's evaluate that. And now if we go to calls, this is still runtime calls is 0. I think this is the list that matters. Anyways, I don't know. I just know that we have to remove all the listeners and then we can add our own listener. Oh, I just closed the game. Uh, anyways, but we're basically done here. Then on click, I need to add a listener. And what do I need to add a listener to? Mod menu dot singleton dot enable. So this is just a class that I wrote. This is the processing, so you can do whatever you want here. So obviously this is a very specific example, but hopefully you can try to apply this to something else. So for instance, let's say you wanted to change the size of something. What you would do is find the object you want to change the size using this. So game object.find the main parent, then you use transform.find to get the child, and then you can just change it how you would. So for instance, this transform dot position, I can change the position of this. So yeah, or sorry, text selection dot position. And we actually need to change the position. So I'm just gonna add like, let's just do 10 is gonna be too much. Is it? We can see. So I'm just clicking on bullet. But I got it to work by waiting. I kept on calling it text selection. It's text section. I don't even know if I need this anymore. We can try not using it. Once I get it working. What I did was instead of finding managers and then finding the child in that, I just did game object to find text section directly, which seemed to work. So I guess there was an issue with the children and stuff like that. I don't know. Anyways, this seems to be working. I think that positioning was just too high, so I made it much less. And let's see if it works. Yeah, cool. Um, oh, it still does the local thing when I click submit. That's why I'm gonna leave this episode video off because this went way longer than I thought it would be. Probably gonna have to edit a lot of it out. So yeah, hopefully this helped. I know I didn't finish it because it's not perfect still, because I still have to go in and do some other stuff. But this just gave a basic overview of using Unity Explorer. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below or ask in the Discord, where I'm more likely to respond quicker in the Discord. So check in the video description for the website. Also donate, please. Yes, donate money. Yes, please. I need money. Okay. Thank you for watching this. Bye.